I kept coming back to the level of enthusiasm I had for it when it happened. And I think while it's been lost to time, especially on a show that was that good,
they never seemed to be a dull moment. It was never much of a case of one being outside the ring while the other two just wrestled for ages. It was just really, really fluid. The chemistry was off the chart. There was no unnecessary kickouts. None.
House of Torture ruined New Japan Dominion. The point in New Japan Dominion in the first match in which they announced that Chase Owens and Bad Luck Fale have joined the House of Torture was the moment I was like, we are beyond repair.
What's up, everybody? It's that time of the year. Yes, it is a Take It to the Table special, but we ain't going to be talking about the end of year favorite matches. We're going to be talking about what we like so far. This is the 6-month review of all promotions. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the best. And if you're lucky, maybe some of the worst as well. So be sure to strap in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And let us take it to the table. I need to have an esteemed panel. And of course, I have none other than two of the best at the table. Let's start off with the one and only David Sheldon at the table. How you doing today, David?
I'm very excited to be here. This is my third annual 6-month review. This is the third show that I've done in a row. I believe I'm the only person outside of you, Chaos, who's done all three over the last 3 years. So this was the one video every year that I request to be on because it's a chance for me to talk about how much I love Japanese wrestling. No, but in all seriousness, how much I love wrestling more generally. And I initially joked that this list was going to be a really hipster list. Actually, after some edits and some rewatches, my list has sort of narrowed out a little bit more mixed, but I'm very, very excited to reveal it. Loads of honorable mentions, loads of great matches, and some worst of the years if we want to go down that list, because it's not all been good.
No, that is true. That is true. Yes, it's been a lot of highs and a lot of lows. But yeah, obviously we're gonna start off with the highs. Let's start positive, shall we? But yeah, like you said, you've been here for pretty much the inception of the 6-month review. To take it to the table. So we had to make you be back here. So welcome back. And of course, last but not least, he didn't even request it. It was more like a demand. Otherwise, my role at that Wrestling Republic was on the line. So I had to bring him on here. So it's none other than, but he has been on here before, so I'll give him that. So yeah, it's none other than El Jefe, Ben Allison. How you doing today, Ben?
I am doing great. And I'm excited for this show. It's always a fun one. It's just great to talk about great wrestling. And so far in 2025, there has been an awful lot of great wrestling. Quite frankly, it was an absolute headache to make this list because there's just been so many amazing matches. But I've settled on my list. But I will say one thing. There is a huge gap between 4 and 5. The top 4, easy for me. Below that, anything is kind of interchangeable, I'd say.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, this is why I like doing this list because, like, I must say, we have been spoiled for choice here. From all the promotions, whether they are one of the majors or even some of the indies as well. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to hear you guys opinions on the on this year's quality of matches as well. So yeah, we it's just gonna be us three. So yeah, I feel like I think we've got the best people that you guys can trust. And obviously, if you agree with us, or if you have your own top 10, then please sure to leave it down in the comments. So yeah, we're gonna be not talking about best PLEs or best pay-per-views. We save that for the end of the year. This one we're just going to be focusing on specific matches, ones that we enjoyed personally. We're not going to necessarily have a critic head on. We're going to be just be a fan and just ones that really surprised us, ones that we predicted was going to be match of the night, and it most certainly was. Or yeah, there's some surprising hits. So yeah, we're going to be going from top to bottom, top 10. Now I'm going to switch it up this year. Usually I let obviously the guests, lead the way, but I'm going to switch it up now. I'm the boss. I'm head of the table, as you can see from the shirt. I'm gonna go first if you guys don't mind, if that's okay. I feel like, save the best for last, which is obviously you guys. So let me just get my one out of the way, just to set the mood and and maybe trigger some of y'all. Who knows? But
There's always one. There is always one. The first year it was Sammy and Roman, in which
Yes.
which was on my list, and everybody went, "Oh yeah." And I was the only one that had put it on my list because everyone else had forgotten that it happened that year. There's always one that we go, "How did I forget that?"
Yeah.
So let's see what it is this year.
Indeed, 100%. I feel like we're definitely gonna get a couple of those. But yeah, let's just get straight up to it. So number 10, my top 10 of best matches of the year, my personal favorite. This one is fairly recent, and the story involving it is still going on right now on TV. And it's a multi-man match, and it is the Money in the Bank match, the men's Money in the Bank match. I felt that this one was a smooth all round. And it was definitely one where almost anyone could have been a viable person to win the briefcase. Everyone had to have a Seth, LA Knight finally, Solo, all these there was so many potentials. There wasn't an outright favorite person. Jey Uso, maybe, all them. So there was some outright favorites. But yeah, the way it played out, it didn't feel, it just didn't feel forced or anything. It just felt natural, and the way they paced it was just so good. I mean, obviously everyone feels bad that it should have been LA Knight's night. Him being held at LA and all that stuff, but I felt like the right person won, and I guess it's too early to say if it was the right choice. It's still ongoing, but I mean, I'm still intrigued on when and if and when Seth cashes in, and I love that briefcase. I definitely want to get that briefcase. I think that is one of the best ones so far.
It looks great.
It looks flipping great.
How are we doing this? Can I come in? Can we come in with comments between matches, or are we just?
Yeah, sure. If you have anything to add, yeah, that's cool.
I liked the men's Money in the Bank. I liked it quite a bit, but I was always of the belief that Seth was winning, and nothing really ever changed my mind. So
yeah, I think same, to be honest.
That did kind of impact my feeling towards the match. It was a good Money in the Bank ladder match. It was better than the women's. It was the better of the two Money in the Bank matches, in my opinion. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's not anywhere near my list, but I did thoroughly enjoy it. But to me, I couldn't get past the predictability factor of it was probably always going to be Seth's night.
I just felt that because he was always proclaiming prior that he was going to win, it was just one of the things where it was just in your face.
That's true.
That's true.
It was going to be a swerve.
It was almost too obvious.
Yeah, because you said it on the Allison analysis. It was just like, is it too predictable? You know what I mean?
So, every show it was Seth was going to win, and that was what they were telling you. But again, it was really well done, and the solo thing was great as well. So lots of really good stuff in there. Enjoyed El Grande Americano doing El Grande Americano things. So yeah, really enjoyed that.
110%. So yeah, that is my number 10. Number 9, I think this one is gonna probably surprise some of y'all. This one happened during WrestleMania weekend. This actually happened at Stand and Deliver, and it was the ladder match for the North American Championship, the Women's North American Championship, which was Sol Ruka, Izzy, Kalani, Lola Vice, Tia Hale, and Zarya.
Banger.
It was an absolute banger. It was just buttery smooth. It was there's too many spots to even to count, and my favorite was Sol Ruka in there, and yeah, she just showed her worth, in that match alone. And not to say that she didn't before, but yeah, it was just so good. And the chemistry it's hard to find chemistry between 6 people in a match, and everything, you just couldn't take your eye off it. It was just very, very probably my favorite match out of that whole pay-per-view, to be fair. Sorry, PLE. But
don't get it wrong, Triple H will come for you.
I know. But yeah, it was just hopefully it was incredibly great. I rewatched it for this list, and I was just like, it still felt like it was my first time watching it. It was just like just goosebumps all around. I absolutely loved it. So that was my favorite match on that Stand and Deliver. Moving on to my number 8. This one happened early in the year and pretty much was the catalyst to lead up to WrestleMania. What happened leading up to it, or Mania is left a lot to be desired, but I'm gonna just leave it out there. So this one is the Elimination Chamber match, the men's Elimination Chamber match at Elimination Chamber.
Brilliant match.
Brilliant match. The match itself, the story that was told in the chamber alone, you know, it was just, and there was so many branches of everything. You know, everyone was saying, okay, maybe it's, you know, it's Drew McIntyre was gonna win, and then, or like it was like, remember there was early spoilers that he was he was the first one out, and everyone was just like, okay, who the hell's gonna win now? Like, you know what I mean?
It made it better for once.
Yeah, it's one of those examples. It's one of those examples where everyone thinks it's going to be Cena, and then a dirt sheet report says it's somebody else, and then when they're first out, you go, okay, it probably is Cena then. But even so, you're kind of like, it is that kind of, oh, it's not the person that we thought it was going to be. Oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
100%. Everyone knows my opinions of what came afterwards, but this is probably the last time this year that I've kind of, with the Cena stuff, gone, yeah, I love the turn, and that's why
it was beautiful done,
because I love the turn so much. Is what's made this, why I've not been as thing on the stuff that's come after it, because I love that turn so much, but it is. The match itself is forgotten, I think, because of what happened afterwards. But it's a really, really good match.
It's perfectly paced.
Particularly the Punk and Cena stuff is genuinely brilliantly done, because, you know, they only have to do it in short bursts, because which means that neither man has time to get gassed, so both guys can just go out there and do their best stuff. It's really good.
Yeah, and like I said, the story, instead it was told a lot, like even the desperation from Cena as well, like the subtle hints of his impending, like he was given hints from his entrance that we didn't even know, or when he was put CM Punk in the STF and he was like shouting, "I'm sorry," like he was just this impending heel turn that no one really would have thought that was going to happen. So yeah, it was just the subtleness in that that match itself just told so many stories alone. It was well put together. Was you gonna say something, Ben?
No, I literally just completely agree on it. It's not on my list, but it's very close to it, because it was a complete blast.
Yeah, it's not on mine either, but it is in my honorable mentions. I do have a bunch of them, but it is in my honorable mentions list, and I don't have many WWE matches on my honorable mentions list this year. But it really did speak to me, and I really enjoyed it.
No, 100%. And going on from the Elimination Chamber and the, you know, one of the rivalries that built from it. That one is going to be in my number 7, which is Cena versus CM Punk at Night of Champions. I feel like a lot of people kind of wrote this feud off. Like, sure, obviously the build up to it was pretty somewhat good. Like I love the Punk life stuff, and I loved Cena's pipe bomb, even though I felt like arguably he could have went a bit deeper, you know. Not saying it wasn't bad, but it was, you know, I don't think it definitely doesn't override what Punk did.
No.
But yeah, like it was nice. And I felt like because of Cena's stature, I don't think he would have gotten heat if he went even deeper, you know. But yeah, still like going to the match itself, I felt like it was brilliantly paced. And you know, it wasn't terribly overbooked. It was definitely my most enjoyable match from Cena so far in this run. I felt like their chemistry is like second to none. You know what I mean? So they brought out the best of each other, and you know, the finish as well was just like, especially with Seth teasing the cash in, and then, you know, now it's the meme now, Charles Robinson just pacing down and he gets NFL tackled out of his shoes by Cena. Yeah, it was just great. So like I said, definitely so far my favorite match from Cena's run as champion. And yeah, I don't think it's over now. So I feel like there's definitely more gas in the tank between them two. So yeah, definitely quite good. Going on to number 6. This is again another WWE match. This happened early in the year, and that is Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble.
I was worried you were going to say Cody and Cena for a second. I was about to be fuming.
The hell's wrong with you? Come on now, dog. But no, yeah, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens was an absolute blast. I love the build up to it as well, with the Kevin Owens running around with the winged eagle, saying he's the real champion, all that kind of stuff. It was nice to see the winged eagle back on TV as well. That was pretty cool. but yeah, the build up to it was absolutely great. It was one of Kevin Owens, one of my most enjoyable rivalries of Kevin Owens' career. Really, it was them two just meshed so well together, and the build up to it, and it was so unique as well. Like from Kevin Owens attacking him backstage, like not even backstage. It was like where the coaches all pull up and stuff, and it's just something that was just refreshing from WWE. So yeah, and obviously the finish, which unfortunately may have taken Kevin Owens out for the foreseeable future, might have been the cause of it. But yeah, if that was his final match, for the time being, that what a match to end up on, because yeah, I thought it was I mean, character-wise, it kind of definitely questioned Cody Rhodes' actions, because he did do a couple heelish things in the match. But either way, the match was a very, very enjoyable, and probably my most enjoyable match out of the whole event. That's why I wanted to choose that. Moving on to number 5. I've lost my list. Here we go. Now this one is an AEW match. And I don't know if this one is like Marmite to people. Not just this match itself, but the match type, which is understandable. And this was at Double or Nothing, and this was the Anarchy in the Arena match, which obviously Omega, Swerve, Willow, and the Ops versus the Young Bucks and the Death Riders. I felt like this was the best paced version of this match type, because every time you see it on TV, it is like it's clunky. There's so many camera cuts. There's 9 times out of 10 you're missing so many moments. It's not really fun to watch, but I felt like they got it right for the most part in this match. You know what I mean? And they made all the big spots feel big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, the chemistry between all of them was good. It wasn't as, I felt like the one that we saw, that was a Stadium Stampede match, wasn't it? The one that we saw in All In.
Yes.
That was Stadium Stampede, wasn't it? Yeah. That was clunky as hell. Like it was.
I didn't know what was going on.
That's what I'm saying. It just didn't feel right. I mean, I loved it. The concept was cool, but
I was having a great time in the arena. I've never watched it back, because I remember that was a match that Kobe rated really low.
Yeah.
We loved in the building.
Yes.
I didn't love it in the building. I had no clue what was going on.
I had a fantastic time. I had a wonderful time, and I got really miffed off at the rating, and I've never actually gone back to rewatch it.
I guess that kind of says it.
It might, no, because I feel like it might ruin my same reason I've never been back to watch Drew and Roman, despite the fact that Drew and Roman was my favorite match of that year, because I was there.
Yeah, same. To be fair,
I can't go back and watch it because it might sully this memory that I have of this being this incredible thing. I'll see it eventually. But
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I've done the same as well. Yeah,
I'll get more to Anarchy in the Arena. Spoilers for my list, but we'll get on to Anarchy in the Arena later. Anarchy in the Arena meant a lot to me this year.
Right.
But we'll come back to it later, very specifically with my fandom. But I agree, it's the best version of the match by light years, to be honest.
Yeah. It was definitely well paced, and everything got time to breathe, and the spots were flipping crazy, like the flipping super kick with the sparks on it. Fucking, like, where do you go? Like it was just absolutely crazy. So everyone put in their shift in that match, and yeah, we appreciate that. So yeah, more of that, please. Going back to WWE, on number 5, this one happened pre-WrestleMania. And no, happened after WrestleMania. Sorry, apologies. And this was on SmackDown, and that was the TLC tag match. The TLC tag match. They got hard done by. I mean, why was this not a Mania? This could have easily been a Mania. They made sure they made the higher ups know, like, you're fucked up, right? You know you're fucked up.
I'll tell you why it wasn't on Mania here. They didn't have any Clash of Clans based wrestlers to sell.
That is true.
That was the reason why.
Yeah.
We had to settle with New Day and Viking Raiders and not get this. And they made sure to let the higher ups know, like, yeah, this is what you could have got. This would have went viral, this match alone. And it was good. I mean, I love the way they tried to just about retell the Edge and Jeff Hardy spot, but obviously added a table at the end. And yeah, like Street Profits put in there. Like my favorite is Montez Ford. Everyone, like, why wouldn't he be? He's an absolute star. But everyone put in their shift in that match, and yeah, it could have went either way, but top match. Definitely should have been at Mania. Moving up to the top 4 now. Number 4. This happened at a free show on YouTube, and it was the Worlds Collide event. And I'm going to say it was Vikingo versus Chad Gable for the AAA Mega Championship. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. God bless Gable and God bless Vikingo. My word. This was, Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio personified. I'll put it out there.
Wow.
It was up there. Like the chemistry between them two was absolutely amazing. I feel Chad Gable, like everyone says, he's like the second coming of Kurt Angle. It's a bit hard to put that kind of stature on him, but I feel like this is what he made him. He made himself like you can't really say that he's the next coming of the second coming of Kurt Angle. He's just Chad Gable now. He put in that work. Even that weekend alone, he worked. What was it? 2 matches or 3 matches?
2.
It was 2. Yeah, it was Vaquer that had 3 matches.
Yeah, Vaquer. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Vaquer had 3. Chad had 2. Was obviously the Vikingo match and then the Money in the Bank ladder match.
And those 8.
Well, no, sorry, you're wrong. It was only 1 match. Sorry,
this guy! Get out of here, man!
It was of course a fantastic performance in Money in the Bank by Ludwig Kaiser.
No, he wasn't in Money in the Bank either. It was just a list of people including El Grande Americano.
Get that garbage out of here!
God,
great wrestler.
Anyway,
of the business.
Chad Gable. Chad Gable put in his work. And yeah, like especially when it's Vikingo's first foray into the WWE landscape. He just fitted in well. A lot of people in the AAA fitted in well with WWE. Look at Mr. Iguana. But yeah, no, Vikingo showed his worth, and you know me, I was a stan for Vikingo when we saw him at Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor during WrestleMania weekend. He's my absolute favorite. When he is injury free, he's one of the best in the world. I'll say that. Like, don't get me wrong, he does some pointless shit. Like you don't have to do that, but it's still amazing to see him do it. Like
Lucha Libre in a nutshell. Lucha Libre is all about doing pointless shit. Like that's
true.
like
you're not wrong, are you? Really?
I watch CMLL every week. Every single show is just a bunch of pointless rubbish. Not pointless rubbish, pointless moves. But it's meant to be spectacle wrestling. It's like like Mexican Lucha Libre wrestling. Not always. There are different strands of it, obviously, but at its heart is about entertainment and about spectacle, and the same rules don't always apply. So it is, and he is. I've always found Vikingo to be better in Mexico than he is in America, but particularly in his early years, less so now that he's been booed out of buildings. But when he was the kind of Mexican Superman, but yeah, it's a brilliant match. To be honest with you, that is the one that I'd forgotten about. It's not on my list because I'd forgotten.
Wow.
I'd have to kind of judge again to see. I have to go back and rewatch it. I was tired that week when I watched that show, but it is brilliant.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, definitely worth a rewatch. But yeah, that's number 4. Number 3, switching back to AEW, and this was at a pay-per-view. I got it right now because AEW calls it pay-per-view. This was at AEW Revolution, and this was a good old cage match that consisted of Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Oh my man, this match was tasty. I mean, pause. But I mean, like, it was just insane. Like, it had no right to be that good. I mean, I felt like there's only so much that you could do in a cage match, but they just would hold my beer, you know what I mean? And they just put the standard of a cage match to another level. It was just absolutely enjoyable. So many OMG moments. And Kyle Fletcher is the future. That easily the future. I mean, when you first started, you don't really see that, but that's the transformation. That's a true transformation of seeing Kyle Fletcher. To be fair, before he was in AEW, I didn't really pay attention to him when he was in Will Ospreay's team. What's their name?
United Empire.
United Empire or in New Japan. I didn't really pay attention, but yeah, he's really coming to his own. He's definitely AEW through and through. Yeah, he's definitely one to look out for. He is the future of AEW, I feel. And yeah, they put in both the work, and Will Ospreay being Will Ospreay. That's all you
Yeah.
that's all you can say. So it feels kind of wrong to not have a Will Ospreay match in your top 3. You know what I mean?
I do have to say I'm a bit shocked here, because remember I said at the start of the show that there was 4 matches to me this year which have been certified classics, and then just an absolute ton of amazing matches. You haven't got at least 2 of the 4 on your list.
Oh, okay. Well, there's 2 more spots.
I'm stunned.
Looking at my top 4, probably I probably don't either, but we'll get there when we get there.
Wow.
That's why I love doing these halfway events. You just don't know who's on each other's list, and it's not so clean cut. You know what I mean? That's why I love doing these things. But yeah, just to wrap up, Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, awesome match. Will Ospreay has had so many bangers, and it was really hard to really choose one. Like he doesn't even save them for pay-per-views. He's had some bangers on Collision sometimes. It's flipping ridiculous. Like his stuff with Ricochet it's absolutely incredible. But anyway, that's number 3. Number 2, switching back to WWE. This happened at WrestleMania, and it was one of the matches that arguably was for a long time. Everyone was wondering, is this going to be the main event? Is it not? And then when it wasn't, they made sure they again probably showed to the higher ups, we should have been one of the main events. And it is, of course, the triple threat women's championship match between Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. They opened up night 2 at WrestleMania, and my goodness, I mean, night 1 was a fun. We did the watch along. Me, myself, and Ben Allison did it. If you haven't checked it out, be sure to check it out after you see this. Yeah, it was a fun night. And then everything was mainly focusing on what's going to happen at night 2. But yeah, what a banger of a match. Unbelievable. It was one of them things where, and it was one of them triple threat matches where all 3 women were active. Like there was barely a moment. You know, with triple threats, is usually someone that's resting outside, and while the other 2 is in action, and then they just swap out. There was no rest period. They were all on it, and it was, this. When you look back now, this was the true main event. This should have main event in one of the nights. There was a long dispute about should it be one of the main events, and I was like, maybe it should be, but considering what we have now, like what was the actual main events. It's the way it is, It's sure you want to, there's obviously that argument, but they put in a true main event at the start of the show. And the fact that was, for me, out of the whole both nights, that was the fact that was the only great match on Mania. And I'll be honest, that's the only match on my list that's from Mania. Kind of paints the picture of what this year's WrestleMania was quality wise. There was quite a lot to be desired, arguably. I must say. I
mean, I would push back on that notion, saying that it was the only great match at Mania. I mean, I wasn't the biggest Mania fan, as people know. My general feeling on the shows were night 1 was a pretty naff show with a brilliant main event with Roman, Seth, and Punk, and then night 2 was a really good show with a really naff
I agree.
event.
Which seemed to be just the general consensus.
Yes, exactly.
About it, yeah.
Night 2, I thought was brilliant for 3 matches, and then it kind of started to go a bit, and then because the Rhea, Io, Bianca into Damian and Drew into the IC 4-way, and I was like, yeah, we're in for an all-timer here, boys. And then it just started to tank, and then really hit a brick wall with the main event. Fantastic.
What I'll say is that, I mean, sure, there was good matches, but I felt like that one was
that's your Mania classic.
Great. It was there was a lot of good matches, but that one was great. So that's what I'm saying. Like there was not that many great matches at Mania. I get you. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to put that as number 2. Was you gonna say something, Ben?
No, just that honestly, it is just that. It is a classic.
Yeah, no, 110%. They were really putting that work, and that finish was just it was beautiful. Everything was beautifully timed. There was no botches, there was no sloppiness or anything like that. It was just absolutely great. Which makes you wonder why the fuck did where's Io Sky going? I mean, obviously she's at Evolution, but I mean, the past few weeks, I mean, it's a bit left a
Not
lot to be
defended the
desired.
title since Mania. Good. That was the last time. That match was the last time she defended that title.
Good
It was
lord.
in April. It's July.
It's
It's legal. Absolutely legal. But anyway, I digress. Okay. Number 1. Okay, I gotta put this. I don't think anything in terms of story has come close to this year. And I feel like it's definitely going to be talked about for years to come, I feel. And, I feel it's so fortunate that, a company like this company has this, what's the word I'm looking for? They're I'm very glad that they have something like this in their pocket, basically, to really look back. And yeah, it was like the story itself was perfectly told from any major wrestling promotion. And it was perfectly wrapped up in a bow. And yeah, that there was nothing else you could talk about, you could really say about this rivalry. And I am talking about the rivalry between Toni Storm and Mariah May. And it's obviously the final ending match at AEW. Why did I not put the flipping event?
Revolution.
AEW Revolution, yes. And my word, I mean, nothing comes close to this. How in terms of long-term storytelling, obviously you can argue about the bloodline and stuff, but even that kind of started falling off a cliff later down the later stages. But this was perfectly told in less than 18 months, so to speak, and this was, you literally brought in someone like Mariah May just for this, and then just tie it all up, and then she's obviously gone to other pastures. But yeah, just the story between these two, and just the build up, and the eventual turn from Mariah May, and just the promo work between both of them, the mind games, them dressing up as each other. And like the stuff with Mira, with Mira, it was just absolutely just amazing. I feel like nothing has been told perfectly, especially in the past 6 months. Other than obviously you might disagree, you might have other storylines regarding this, but the match itself as well, the final match, and then it was a true blood feud. It wasn't just something that was just just made up and it's like, oh, it's that time of the year, so we got to do this kind of match or whatever. It was just a proper blood feud, and that these women, obviously, if you take your logistical mind off, turn it off, and just feel like, all right, yeah, these women literally hate each other, and there's a reason for it. There's a legit reason. And yeah, they left everything out there, and then obviously the final move, and then 1, 2, 3, Toni Storm retains the title. And you see the overlay saying the end, and then yeah, it was just perfectly told. It's one of the best told stories in my for a long time, besides the first half of the Bloodline saga. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Arguably, I feel like once Jimmy turned on Jay, I feel like that's when it started falling off a cliff. But anyway, yeah, it was just absolutely brilliant, and yeah, I don't think anything will come past that, and that's why I said, the fact that AEW has something in like this in their back pocket, so they don't have to rely on the CM Punk versus MJF story feud, or everything else. This something is like, especially for the women's division as well. It's perfect, absolutely perfect. So I'm not putting this number 1 just for the match. I'm also putting it there just for the way the story was told, and it was just absolutely perfect from beginning to end. So that is my top 10. Number 1 is Toni Storm versus Mariah May. In that it was a final ending, wasn't it? Match?
Hollywood ending.
Hollywood ending. Say, there you go. Thank you very much. I really need to update my notes. But yeah, Hollywood ending.
Great choice.
So yeah, perfect. Let's start off with, I'll say the best to last. So yeah, El Jefe, I know you want to go first. So what is your top 10 best matches of the year? Best matches of the year so far?
I am still really, really, really stunned, Chaos. You left 2 of those, 2 of my top 4 off your list. but we will get into that in just a second. Before I get into my top 10, very quickly, I want to just say I haven't seen 3 matches, which if I have seen them, maybe would be in this top 10. And that is I haven't seen either of the Sari versus Shiori matches. I've heard great things. I haven't watched either of them. And I also haven't seen El Desperado versus Jun Kaiser, which I haven't seen it, but again, getting great reviews. Maybe would be on my list if I had. But in at number 10, I am going for Kenny Omega's AEW return match against Konosuke Takeshita. I'm a big fan of both of these guys, and it was a fantastic reintroduction to AEW for Kenny Omega, a true banger in every sense of the word. In at number 9, I have got to go for Hiroki Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr. New Beginnings. Because, I mean, this was the shock title change nobody saw coming. Literally nobody saw it coming. I was absolutely stunned. I thought it was going to be, dare I say, a filler defense for Zack Sabre Jr., but it was really good. Really, really, really good. And I wasn't lucky enough to actually watch it without knowing the outcome, so I did know the outcome. Maybe we higher up my list if I hadn't seen it. But even still, I loved this. I'm a big Zack Sabre Jr. guy, but I don't even care that he lost. Goto deserved it. In at number 8, I've got the match which you mentioned, Chaos. That's SmackDown TLC tables, ladders, and chairs. It was a WrestleMania-worthy match. Didn't get on the card, but was on SmackDown, and it was delightful. In at number 7, I do have another match from WrestleMania, because David's point was WrestleMania Night 1, rubbish show until mediocre show until the main event. Night 2, great show until the main event. Well, I agree. Main event night 1, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, the turn of the century. I mean, it wasn't as good as John Cena's heel turn a month before, but even still, Paul Heyman turning on Roman Reigns and CM Punk and aligning himself with Seth Rollins, and the shock that it left when you walked out of WrestleMania 41 Night 1, it felt reminiscent of the heist of the century, because it was something you very simply did not see coming. I loved it. Really, really bought into that match. In at number 6, I have a steel cage match between Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. Chaos, you mentioned it. This was innovative as hell. These guys had done things I didn't know was possible within the confines of a cage. It was truly brilliant. It was unique. There's nothing like it. I will say, for my personal liking, maybe they pushed it a little bit too far, but even still, I really did enjoy this match. In at number 5, we got to go with the 2 Canadians. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Elimination Chamber. These 2 guys near killed each other. It was fantastic to see, and looking back now, how this might be Kevin Owens' last significant match for quite a while. I mean, honestly, I am going to have to go back and rewatch it quite a few times. An absolute classic between those. Maybe not classic, but near to a classic, right? But my top 4 are all matches which I genuinely think are classics. These are 4 matches which I do think are going to be remembered for years and years to come. In at number 4, Hangman Page, Will Ospreay, Double or Nothing. Both of them wanted that title shot at All In. Both of them wanted the opportunity to take Jon Moxley off the throne, and they wanted it oh so very much. This match did a phenomenal job of making not only the Owen Hart tournament, but also the AEW Championship, and just a mere shot at the AEW Championship, feel like a huge freaking deal. I loved it. I really, really did, and it shouldn't be a surprise. Will Ospreay is probably the best professional wrestler on the planet. Hangman Page is probably, within the ring, the best in-ring storyteller on the planet, and this lived up to the hype and then some. That is number 4. In at number 3 is Chaos's number 1, the Hollywood ending. Toni Storm, Mariah May, a match which I refer to as the greatest match under 15 minutes of all time. I will have to go and rewatch stuff to really, know that for a fact. But the fact is, I love this. To your point, Chaos, everything you said was correct. There's the amount, the level, the attention to detail, all of it, the story, it was gold. And the term I always like to use in professional wrestling is suspending your disbelief. And this did that. This truly, truly did that. It suspended my disbelief. I was drawn into it for those 15 minutes. And sometimes I have an issue with kickouts after big spots. I was so into this match, I didn't have an issue. That tells you all you need to know. But I don't think it's as good as my top 2. Number 2, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, WrestleMania 42. This genuinely might be one of, if not my favorite triple threat matches of all time. Partly because of the reasons you mentioned, Chaos. They never seemed to be a dull moment. It was never much of a case of one being outside the ring while the other two just wrestled for ages. It was just really, really fluid. The chemistry was off the chart. There was no unnecessary kickouts. None. Because they were either broken up or it made sense. And just, honestly, I just came out of this match thinking, I am going to remember this forever. This has to be one of the greatest WrestleMania matches. This has to be in that conversation because a lot of times fantastic matches go maybe a kick out or two too far. This one didn't. This was perfect as it was. Perfect, I tell you. But number 1, well, it was even more perfect. Because one of my favorite wrestlers over this past decade had been out of action for well over a year. And honestly, even before that, he kind of didn't feel like the same wrestler to me for a couple of years. But he returned. January 4th, the Tokyo Dome, Kenny Omega, Gabe Kidd, and they put on a classic, a 5-star classic, a match that I would define as perfect. It was exceptional. It absolutely was. Gabe Kidd, this made him a star, and rightfully so with the work he's putting in. He wanted to defend New Japan. The story told throughout it, it was fantastic. Seeing Omega back, it was fantastic. Seeing the old Omega back was the cherry on top of the cake. This match, I don't think anything's touching it this year for me. Undoubtedly my classic, and that is my list.
Fair dues. I'm not gonna lie. I completely forgot about the Kenny Omega match and Gabe Kidd. That is a very good shout. I did watch that match. That was a great match, a very, very, very great match. Yeah, that is a very fun list, I must say. That is
excellent list. It's an excellent list. I think all the matches that you mentioned, Ben, are terrific. Fantastic.
We've agreed for once on one of these.
Yeah, I mean, like, not all the matches made my list, but I don't think any of the 10 that you mentioned I have any objection with not being really, really brilliant. Yeah, great, terrific, and love the mention of some matches that will appear in my list very shortly.
Yeah, I'm disappointed
I like Japanese wrestling.
Do you like strong style and arm and ref holds?
And Osprey too, by any chance?
Oh dear me.
But yeah, no, that was a great list. Even though I'm disappointed that you notched down Toni Storm down about a peg or two. But
I was surprised you had it at number 1. But I mean, rightfully so. You can make that argument, but I was just surprised.
I mean, should I go on to mine though? Because before we go into the 3, where I want everyone's cameras on for this one.
Okay.
It's brilliant. I know it's brilliant. Hollywood ending is not on my list. It's
sorry.
That's it. Oh, we've lost Ben. He's gone. Yeah, fine. It's fun. It is. And he's gone again. And he's back again. No, the match is incredible. But I wanted to say that it's not on my list with a preface. because the match is incredible. To me, it was a bit too short. I wanted a little bit more. And with the sheer volume of brilliant wrestling that is on my list, it had to come. Creating my top 10 had to come down to matches that personally had an impact on me, or that I personally thought were completely flawless, or like that is the standard that I'm at. When I go through my list of honorable mentions, which I will do before number 1, so I don't spoil the list, there are so many matches that in any other year would have been in a top 10. Just the standard of wrestling this year is just incredible. It's like, and so I had to, as Chaos said at the start, slightly go more into the things that impacted me as a fan more than what the best matches were. Because I think you can make an argument for Tony and Mariah. I still think the thing with Tony and Mariah's feud was it started at All In a match that I thought was fine but could have been better. Then they had the match at Grand Slam, which I thought was fine but could have been better. And then we hit this, which was what I wanted the other two matches to be. But I still wasn't 100%. The feud is incredible, but it was always I always felt like I was a step behind everybody else in where I thought the match quality ended up. I thought they ended up having 2 good matches and 1 brilliant match, whereas I think other people disagree and think that there were 3 brilliant matches in the feud. I never quite got there. But
fair enough.
But to be clear, when
You're wrong, but fair enough.
That's fine. When I say it's not on my list, that is not me taking away from the work of the women. It's an incredible match with incredible spots and an incredible ending. It's just there are just so many matches, and I did about 6 different versions of this list. So just prefacing that to say it's not on there, but don't let that distract from the fact that it is a brilliant conclusion of the rivalry.
No, that's cool. That's cool. And what makes a good thing about these lists is that I'm glad that we're not clashing with the same matches, because it just makes it more fresh and more interesting.
To be clear, like there are matches on this list that I probably think Tony and Mariah you could make the argument are better. Mm-hmm. But I had more of a reaction to the matches on my list than that, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so, like when you see certain matches on this, don't go, oh, but that match is so much better than, Tony and Mariah is so much better than that match. If you get what I mean, because the list was top 10. I know it's best in the title, but I did my 10 favorites because otherwise I was going to drive myself mad trying to narrow down. I think it was in the end, I think 55 matches that had a 9 or 10 out of 10 on Cage Match, and I am a harsh marker, so the standard is just too high. Stop doing good wrestling. Don't see so.
Too much good wrestling.
Too much good wrestling.
Get rid of it. Don't you miss those good old days in 2010?
You missed even further back during the Attitude Era, where every match was 5 minutes, and 9 times out of 10 it would end with an interference. It was never clean. But yeah. Last but not least, let's go to the master critique. Obviously, we did say don't bring your critique hat, but I know it's pretty much say one and the same. I understand that we did discuss that before off the air. So, but yeah, more importantly, let's go to your list. What is your top 10 best / favorite matches of 2025 so far, David?
I like Japanese wrestling. Okay, let's go. To be clear, there's less Japanese wrestling on this than there was in the first draft. In the first draft, 7 out of the 10 matches were from Japan. It's not at that standard anymore. Okay, but we don't start with Japan. I'll do my honorable mentions when we get to when I say number 2 before number 1, so that I'm not spoiling the list. So at number 10, I think that the result of this match has sullied the fact that it's not on either of your lists, because I think this match is the best iteration of this match in 5 years. My number 10 is the Men's Royal Rumble. I absolutely loved this match. I loved pretty much everything about it. I loved the winner at the time. I thought Jey Uso, the level of shock that came from Jey Uso knocking John Cena off, Cena's facial expression, the fact we all thought Cena was going to win, and they threw that curveball, and it was an interesting curveball, and it could have led to the best heel turn in wrestling history. It hasn't turned out that way, but it was seed 1. On top of that, you had Ray and Penta to kick us off. You had a constantly stacked card in which anybody could conceivably win. You had great cameo spots from I Show Speed and a great celebrity cameo spot. You had Joe Hendry's return or debut in a main roster WWE ring, which would obviously lead to the autumn match at Mania. You had Styles' return. You had all the stuff with Punk, Roman, and Seth. You had Logan Paul just being a complete jackass through the whole match. I kept going through and thinking to myself, that's an amazing spot. You had Bron Breakker, Jacob Fatu, sort of really establishing themselves as top talents. After a couple of years in which I felt like the Rumble wasn't where I wanted it to be, I feel like this was the Rumble in which all of those spots came together. So I loved the Men's Royal Rumble, and I also loved the finish when it happened. I think the only reason it's not higher up my list is because what happened afterwards didn't quite pan out the way we'd hoped it would. If it did, I think we'll be looking back at this match a whole lot differently. So number 10, the Men's Royal Rumble. At 9, this match is one that I don't think anybody else is going to have near a top 10 list, but it hit me a very certain way of spectacle wrestling. I love my spectacle wrestling. So at number 9, from one of genuinely possibly the best wrestling show of the year, or one of the best TV episodes of the year, NXT Roadblock, Ethan Page versus Javon Evans in a street fight. This is the Javon Evans just spends the entire match doing the most ridiculous hardcore dives you can possibly think of. And I lapped up every single one of them. I've loved the chemistry that Ethan Page and Javon have shown in their various interactions over the last year on NXT. I think they complement each other really well. Ethan's a fantastic heel when given that sort of cruiser that he can throw around and really beat up. You had the whole thing with the jaw wired shut. You had Javon doing his dive over the announce table. Had big, great hardcore spots without resorting to the blood and the guts and the gore. It was a very cleanly produced, very well produced street fight. And yeah, when I went back over the list, I kept coming back to the level of enthusiasm I had for it when it happened. And I think while it's been lost to time, especially on a show that was that good, I couldn't escape it. So I've come back to it. Ethan Page versus Javon Evans at number 9 from NXT Roadblock. At number 8, now this is a very difficult one to rank for me, because number 8 is one of the best matches of the year from an in-ring perspective, but for a very specific reason, it didn't connect with me quite in the way that it's connected with others. At number 8 from AEW, Double or Nothing, Hangman Page versus Will Ospreay. It's a match that was tailor-made for me to love and give 5 stars, and I did love it, and I did give it 5 stars. And I'm going to peel back the curtain slightly on what happened with this match as to why perhaps it didn't quite have the impact on me that it has with others. So me and Kobe were doing a watch-along and reviewing the show live as we went. Unfortunately, it's 5 a.m. in the UK, and so during this match, I very briefly, for about an hour, fell asleep. Right, just as the entrances were finishing and the match was starting, I slightly dozed off. And I came back, watched the match to aid Kobe in his rating. And by that point, I knew who'd won. I knew that Hangman had won because it was already written on our review document. From that point, the match slightly broke, because all of the beauty of this match is not knowing who's going to win and going back and forth with the kickouts and this epic scale sort of matchup. And it just, for me, as perfect as it was in its execution, in its acting, in its kickouts, in its movement, it's a flawless wrestling match, but it just ran. It was almost too perfect. It was so cleanly produced, so well sort of executed, that it, to me, it didn't give me that deep emotional connection that other matches on this list have given me. And whether that was the circumstances in which I saw it, or whether it was whatever, unfortunately, it was a fantastic match, and it is worthy of topping best of the year lists. But for me, didn't quite have that emotional connection that others did. So I'm going to hold that at number 8. At number 7 is the other match in which everyone has had extremely highly, and deservedly so. It's Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair versus Io Sky from WrestleMania Night 2. It's a phenomenal opener. It's again, similar thing to Hangman and Ospreay. Didn't give me the emotional connection that other matches on this list did, which in a list of top 10 with such high standards is kind of the benchmark I have to hit. But it is so well produced, so well wrestled by all three women. It is, I think, probably the best opening match in WrestleMania history, close to Brett and Owen. I think that there's those two matches that are in the same ballpark, but it's probably does just supersede it for me. Terrific match, terrific right outcome. Yeah, just the perfect match and a great example of why, they probably should have main evented the show, at least main evented night one. But yeah, an outstanding three-way, and I wanted to reward the quality of the wrestling, even if, again, the emotional attachment wasn't there for me in the way that others on this list were, but it is exceptional. I'm just going to take a quick jaw stretch before we carry on. At number 6, Ben mentioned it as a match that he has not included because he hasn't seen it. I have, and I promise you it's as good as the reviews suggest. It's number 6, El Desperado versus Yun Kasai from the WrestlePain Death Invitational. This is their final match, or I think it's their final match. They've wrestled loads in their trilogy, and all the matches have been brilliant. And this is the one that really hit the highest standards. Loads of blood, loads of amazing emotion. It is very much a match in which the same few moves are repeated again and again and again, but they grow meaning and they grow fatigue and weariness with every time they hit. I was, unlike Cena or Orton, which had the same kind of principle of big moves repeated, I felt like this had a little bit more structure and psychological intrigue into why those moves were happening when they did. So I loved Despy and Kasai. I thought it was a brilliant send-off to their trilogy. And yeah, just blood-soaked and gory and just brilliant. The spot in which Kasai is on top and does the salute and dives off the ladder onto Despy is fantastic. They're two of the best deathmatch wrestlers in the world, and they proved it once again. Okay, the top 5 for me are kind of, these were always set in stone as the top 5 because it's just, they're all astonishing pieces of work. So at number 5, this is my hipster choice. I always have one. It's normally a big multi-women Japanese match. This is the one from this year. It's number 5. I don't have the exact show, which is terrible of me, but I don't have the exact show. But it is a trios match between Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, and Starlight Kid against Natsupoi, Ciariano, and Tam Nakano. This match, the speed of this match is something it's unlike anything I have ever seen before. Good gracious me. It is like 25 minutes, I think it's 20 to 25 minutes of some of the most incredible speed wrestling I have ever seen. I'm just confirming the show so I can tell you exactly where to find it because it's brilliant. You can find it at Stardom's 14th Anniversary Supreme Fight 2025. It is, I think Starlight Kid is one of the best wrestlers, period, in the world, as is Tam Nakano, as are so many women in this match. Just extraordinary precision, speed. I genuinely felt like I was watching on another planet. Every year there's always one match that really sort of blows my mind in a way that I didn't think wrestling could be at that standard and that energy. And I'm always proved wrong because they always do something like this. It's a superb match, and go out of your way to find it because it is rated 5 stars by certain outlets. The only one person that matters in that is me, and I give it 5 stars. So yay. Let's move on to top 4. At number 4, this is the one that I've gone back and forth on the most because it's the match that could conceivably have gone either way. Because there are flaws in this, but I don't care. At number 4 is Anarchy in the Arena from Double or Nothing. I've not been a fan of the other two Double or Nothing, Anarchy in the Arena matches. This was the one that finally got me for a very specific reason. I was, when I saw Double or Nothing, a little bit burned out with WWE, its corporate tactics, and various things that were happening around it. This match was the most ECW match I've ever seen. That was not produced by ECW. From the crowd screaming, "Let the bodies hit the floor," to the to the excellent comedy wrestling at the start with the Independence Day gimmick, into the reference to the Pointer Sisters, to all of the, it was a brilliant mix of the best of Stadium Stampede back from the COVID days, which was the comedy, mixed in with the brutal action, the high spots, the drama, all just so crazy, and it made me feel like there was a legitimate counterculture promotion that existed in North America. And even though it's the second biggest, it still felt like it was just doing everything different, and it just energized me. It made me want to go to war, and that is exactly what this match needed to be. I think it's the best. It was the best match on that show. No, it's actually no, it's not the best match on the show. The best match on the show is Hangman and Ospreay. But my favorite match on the show by quite a way would have been Anarchy in the Arena, because it just made me feel something. It just made me feel that energy and that life, and that's what I wanted from it. So Anarchy in the Arena at 4. At 3, potentially one of the best steel cage matches I have ever seen. It's Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay from AEW Revolution, off the back of potentially the best string of matches I've ever seen on a pay-per-view, with Hollywood ending into Omega Takeshita into Fletcher Ospreay. This was the pinnacle of all three. It was just a remarkable cage match. Kyle Fletcher is extraordinary. Ospreay plays his part brilliantly. It's the most psychological Ospreay match of the year. It's the blood, the violence, it all makes sense. I love the big high spots. I love the kickouts personally. I don't care. It's all sort of, to me, it feels like two men who just will not give in and admit defeat. Kyle Fletcher, after one kickout, like doubles back on himself, and you can just see that look of, I don't even know what I've kicked out of. I just can't lose to him. And that's that's what I want. I want that level of psychological, real impact and brutality, and Fletcher screaming at Ospreay at the end. It's an incredible match. And yeah, just this is the best Ospreay match of the year. It might be the best match of Fletcher's career. I just think it's an extraordinary piece of work. And if you haven't seen it, see it. At number 2, don't make me choose between which of these two matches is better. I might be slightly cheating because this is technically then a top 11. If I have to pick, I'm going to say Hiroki Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr. from New Beginning in Osaka, though I would also throw out there Hiroki Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr. at Tanahashi Jam, where Goto loses the championship because they are the perfect rise and fall. You have Goto versus Sabre Jr. in front of, in memory of his father, this in front of his family. There's just this rabid crowd, his home crowd, who want him to win it so badly, and this just rise of emotion with every move. The crowd get louder and louder and louder. It's this most incredible euphoria when Goto finally nails it for the win. And then the Tanahashi Jam match, where it all comes crumbling down because Goto gets injured, and what seems to start out as part of the story seems to get very real the more he sells the arm. And Sabre just turning vicious and yanking at it, and you're just feeling all of your hopes and dreams just dash out of the crowd and dash out of you. And the finish, Sabre just yanking, refusing to let go, that fire in the eye, and Goto trying everything to get out of it, and he just can't do it. It's a magnificent duology of matches. They do have another match this year in America that didn't hit quite as hard as these two. So if you can seek out the Tanahashi Jam match, it is online, I believe, on YouTube or various places. I know it was only televised in Japan, but you can seek it out on various places. So try and find that, but definitely watch the New Beginning in Osaka match on New Japan Pro Wrestling World, because it is potentially the best feud in terms of multi matches in 1 year of the year. Goto has been a phenomenal champion. Okay, I'm going to very, very briefly run through these honorable mentions before we get to number 1. When I've said my honorable mentions, you'll probably know what my number 1 is. But to go through my honorable mentions, we have Konosuke Takeshita versus Tomohiro Ishii from Wrestle Dynasty. Just two big sluggers, just hitting each other really hard. We've got Starlight Kid versus Hanako. This was a little hidden gem from Stardom. Again, Hanako is not always critically regarded, but she had a fantastic match with Starlight Kid, playing up the big woman versus little woman storyline fantastically. The Men's Elimination Chamber, which we discussed on earlier. Bandido versus Mascara Dorada from CMLL, probably the best show in the history of CMLL's, best match in the history of CMLL's Tuesday shows. David Finlay versus Yota Tsuji from Wrestle Kingdom. This was a massive surprise, terrific matchup. Really sort of coming out party for David Finlay, that yeah, he can hang at that top level. Fraxium versus Hank and Tank, where Hank and Tank finally dethroned Fraxium. Just an incredible match. Great to see the fire behind Hank and Tank, the most over they've ever been. SmackDown TLC, we've discussed that already. Takeshita and Fletcher versus Ospreay and Omega from Grand Slam. It's Omega. It's Omega and it's Ospreay. Speaking of Omega and Ospreay, both of their matches with Tanahashi, Takeshita. Ospreay versus Takeshita on Dynamite and Omega versus Takeshita are All Out. Both just phenomenal matches. Mariah and Tony, Hollywood Ending, which we've already discussed at length. Saray's brilliant work this year. Obviously, the matches with Sayuri, a match with Veni is brilliant, and a match with Meiko Satomura that proved that even in her final months as an active wrestler, Meiko Satomura was still an incredible talent in the ring. Finally, Gabe Kidd versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, which is not the greatest technical match ever, but the story told and the fire from Tanahashi made me realize what I'd been missing with Hiroshi Tanahashi for years in his characterization. So a brilliant match from them. But number one, my favorite match of the year. It is the same as Ben's. It is the best match of the year. I don't think it will be topped as the best match of the year. It's Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd. It's not Wrestle Kingdom, it is Wrestle Dynasty. January the 5th, but it is just an outstanding piece of work. And Gabe Kidd is so brilliant in this match. It's the best performance of any wrestler all year. Omega is back to the best bout machine and is just so brilliant. But Gabe Kidd sobbing as he locks in the Tanahashi. No, not Tanahashi. Is it Inoki? Locks in the abdominal stretch and just yanks it, sobbing as the camera zooms in. It's the best spot of the year. And just blood and anger and violence and just this remarkable difference in characterization between the two men. It's best match of the year. It's the best match of both men's years. Best match of Gabe Kidd's career, and just an extraordinary piece of work. And I've talked for far too long. That is my top 10 matches of 2025.
Wow. Very comprehensive list. I can't argue with any of them. And the fact that you both have joint number ones, I probably need to have to rewatch that match to see what I'm missing, because like, don't get me wrong, that match was fire. Him, Omega and Gabe Kidd. But yeah, I'm kind of, I always feel bad that it's not on my list. But yeah, this is why we do these. To obviously remind us of the great matches that we've been spoiled with as fans, you know. But yeah, I can't argue with any of those matches. Do you have anything to say, Ben? What the hell? Yo, your mic is out. What's going on? Whoa! Your mic is out. There we go.
Completely my fault. I had it on mute. But no, I think it's a fantastic list. No doubt about it. I am still a bit shocked the Hollywood Ending isn't on there. I mean, that match to me, unbelievable. But fantastic list you put together, and I need to check out Despy versus, I don't know how to say it. I botched it the first time. I won't try it again.
I said Junkasai, but I've got no idea how you say it. I just, you know, the thing is, most of he doesn't have many matches with English commentary. So most matches that he has Japanese commentary. So I need to go and properly listen.
Hear the pronunciation.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say as well about it is, the second I said it out, because it's written wrong in my notes. The second I said it out loud, January 4th, the second 4th came out of my mouth. I was like, it was wrong, but I ran with it. You had to pick me up on it, didn't you?
It's David, of course he's going to.
No, but like the Despy Kasai match will very much be polarizing because of the style of match it is. I mean, I'm not a deathmatch guy at all. I've made that clear in the past, but when deathmatch wrestling is as good as it is in this match, and when it is as good as it is in other matches, I take the Texas death matches and stuff like that. You've got no choice but to admit it is that good. And I know Kobe wasn't fully as convinced with it as I was. So he liked it. He liked it. And he said it was very good, but he wasn't as convinced as I was. So check it out, Ben, and see what you think, because it's fascinating. And also, everyone go and watch the Stardom match, because it's really, really great. And that's, if I can recommend any match on this list that I think you otherwise probably wouldn't have seen, it's that one.
I'll go and check it out.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I need to check it out and see what's going on with there as well. Because I'll be real. I don't really watch Stardom, so yeah, I need to go and check that out for sure. It wasn't
especially hype. It wasn't even the main event of the show, but it was.
I haven't even heard about that match happening. To be
it was a match that a certain other Dave, who we won't name, gave 5 stars directly after.
Uncle David Sheldon.
Yes, it was Uncle David. Gave it directly after Tony and Mariah got 5, and it was like, it's like London Buses, we wait all these years for 5-star women's matches to come along, and then 2 come along at once. But it was, then that was, I'll be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have seen the match if it wasn't for hearing that it had got that rating, and it's as good as that, and it's outstanding.
I'll check it out.
Fair dues. And that pretty much brings up to all that our list of the top 10 favorite matches / best matches of the year so far. Then don't worry, we will be doing our best and worst PLEs or pay-per-views of the year at the end of 2025. We still got quite a way to go. Obviously this is the halfway point, so we gotta obviously be sure to do that. And obviously Ben Allison and of course David Sheldon will be there as well, giving their top 10. I'm sure they can't wait to dive into those lists for sure. Before we wrap up, just a quick shout out. Not a shout out, but what is so far? Let's go to the dark side, shall we? And instead of just narrowing it down to matches, what's your worst moment of the year? So
that's hard.
Easy answer.
Let's start with Ben then. Will I think of mine? So
if it's worst singular moment in professional wrestling this year, the worst moment is easy, and that is the ending to the biggest show of the year in wrestling, WrestleMania 41. That ending sucked. I mean, we all expected multiple run-ins, massively overbooked, and for it to ultimately go the way it went, we didn't just expect Travis Scott to just walk down to the ring, John Cena to win, that's it, and we don't see Travis Scott again. I mean, it sucked, and it's worse with time.
Worst of all time. I mean, that's a huge bar.
It's worse with time.
Oh, worse with
the more months which go past and the less Travis Scott's involved, this is even worse.
No, 100%. It's been an absolute dumpster fire, and don't get started on. Don't get me started on the shit with The Rock. That still boils my blood. But I'll throw in one right now. It's also actually culminated at WrestleMania season, and it was actually the whole Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair feud.
Good point.
That was an absolute dumpster fire, wasn't it, fellas? I mean, don't worry, don't get me wrong. It was a fun car crash to see on live TV, but at the same time, the unprofessionalism, the awkwardness, Charlotte's just unwillingness to just put over younger talent and just trying to show her up, and then all that divorce stuff, and then that.
I mean, the Players Tribune interview yesterday, Charlotte did. I mean, that. Almost then I was like, okay, now I can see it from Charlotte's perspective too. They both acting like preschool kids.
Yeah, pretty much. And then the match itself was rough as hell. We watched it for our watch long, and it just felt like there was a lot of sandbagging going on. There was the chemistry wasn't there. Don't get me wrong, it was when they had they ran the bust ups leading up to Mania. They were quite fun, just brawling across the ring and all that stuff, but the promos and the in-ring promo, and then it was just really, really awkward to see on TV. I just felt like it all just culminated to an absolute they went out with a whimper, Don't get me wrong. To be fair, this Charlotte that we're getting now, it's a step up. I'm actually enjoying it. It looks like she's actually embracing, the character more, and obviously what people think of her and whatnot. And I feel like she's having more fun with the stuff she's going on with Alexa Bliss. But ever since she made a return from the Royal Rumble, she was so far up her own ass, and you could just tell she was smelling her own farts. And it just was just pouring out on TV, and everyone was just like, please go away. You've been gone, even though you just came back, go away. You know what I mean? And poor Tiffany. But like you said, they were both at fault for it. And I just feel like that was a really cringe moment in for 2025. But more importantly, David, what's your worst moment?
Look, I need to give you two because I can't choose. Look, there's loads I could go with. You've said the main event of Mania, so I'm not going to go there. I could talk about Suzuki and Butterbean, which is like watching two. It's so rubbish. Or Maki Ito and Mickey James from the same show, which is just as bad. for different reasons. That's a match where Mickey gets gassed and so just goes on a massive rant about wrestling journalists for 10 minutes. But I can't escape. But I could also throw Cena and Randy in there just to annoy everybody because I can't stand it. It's so rubbish. But we'll leave that one there. I've had plenty of arguments about that in other chats. But I can't choose between two, so I'm going to go with both of them. The first one is House of Glory. Is it House of Glory? Reality of Wrestling. Which one's Booker's promotion?
Oh, Reality of Wrestling. Yeah.
Reality of Wrestling. Sorry.
House of Glory. Unnecessary dig.
Sorry, House of Glory. I'm not trying to. Yes. So there's two moments. The first of all is Reality of Wrestling, heavily promoting Booker T versus Zilla Fatu as a match on the show. Promoted it for ages and ages and ages, and it was a massive squash. A bunch of guys came out and beat up Zilla, and then Booker came out, beat up Zilla some more, and pinned him. What? Remember Shane McMahon beating up Roman Reigns with Drew McIntyre's help for ages in Saudi? It was that. Only they built their entire show and people, going to watch it around that match, and then just basically gave you Zilla being drubbed by AJ Francis and a 59-year-old Booker T who can't move. So that was pretty bad. But at least that wasn't televised. The other one is House of Torture ruin New Japan Dominion. The point in New Japan Dominion in the first match in which they announced that Chase Owens and Bad Luck Fale have joined the House of Torture was the moment I was like, we are beyond repair. Like this is where we're at. New Japan have had some amazing moments this year, as referenced by my list, as referenced by so many fantastic things. Tanahashi's final run, Goto's world title reign, the Super Juniors having great matches, Gabe Kidd, Tsuji, Uemura, all these brilliant people. But no, we need Evil and his evil stable of a bunch of old past it has-beens sort of waddling their way to the ring to turn face. And what was worse, a heel was. And then a few segments later, Dookie joins as well, who's actually a good wrestler and has done absolutely nothing with it since, won the tag titles and done nothing since. So House of Torture's stranglehold over New Japan, particularly, and the worst case scenario at New Japan Dominion, is probably the worst moment of the year.
Ooh.
Great shout, honestly. Great shout. Dreadful.
And it's annoying because the main event of that show is blinking brilliant, but the crowd is being slightly killed because they've watched Chase Owens and Don Farley. Don Farley is they build the whole they in the build up. There's a mystery partner. There's a mystery partner for who's it going to be? It's Bad Luck Farley. Nothing against Farley.
Yeah, don't disrespect Bad Luck Farley, the OG general back in the day.
But he is like. He can't really walk, let alone
not
wrestle
anymore. He's past it.
So it's like he's a great trainer. From all accounts, he's a fantastic trainer, and that's fantastic. But it was like at this point, we're like, this is where we're at now. Like this is New Japan's booking. This is where we're putting our eggs in. Is going back to the guys that worked 15 years ago. It's such a shame.
In a faction which has never worked in the 4 years it's existed.
It works every 4 months. You get something that's all right out of it, and then you go back to the problem is just it ruins week to week booking. Like it ruins actually watching the show.
I can think of 2 examples in their 3-year existence which have worked.
Yeah. I like the Tanahashi match at Wrestle Kingdom, but because they put Tanahashi's career on the line, which gave something to it. But yeah, I watched recently the Bucks versus Evil and Sonada from like a decade ago, and I was like, I'm going back and I'm watching old classic New Japan, and I'm like, oh, this is what Evil used to wrestle like.
He could work.
Like he's a good wrestler. He's a really good worker. And then
Evil Okada 2016. Check that out. He's fantastic in it.
Sure, it's excellent. And just watch that and watch it now, and you just think, oh my good grief.
Bad dudes, man. It looks like I'm missing a lot in New Japan. My word, yeah, that's
loads of great stuff. Just skip the House of Torture stuff. Watch most of the rest of it. Unfortunately, it's becoming
unfortunately, 35 to 50% of the roster is currently in House of Torture. But
oh my lord, what is this? The fucking bootleg NWO? What the hell's going on here?
It is exactly what it is. It's NWO. What was it? Was it Wolfpack? What was there was the Job Squad, the NWO Job Squad.
Job Squad, yeah.
Yeah, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. and it's a now jobified Ren Narita, and you're like, just my good grief.
Poor Red Narita.
Flip it now. Okay, I'll definitely look it up for that. But yeah, most importantly, what's your top five? Not top five. What's your worst moment of the year so far? There's been quite a few. Say again.
We've all done them.
It's about the comment section.
Oh, sorry. Repeat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Go back. I thought you were talking to me. I thought you were talking to Ben. Sorry. Repeat. We'll restart.
More importantly, everyone that's watching, put it down in the comments as well. What is your worst moment of 2025 so far? I think there's definitely a couple more in the pipeline. Everyone, don't forget, obviously, Tessa Blanchard's return to TNA. That's also
but she's had good matches. There. I mean, she shouldn't be there on principle, but the match with Jordan is fantastic. It's just a shame she shouldn't be there. But
she should be there.
The match was fantastic.
And the crowd pretty much won that match itself. I just went online and to see who's the fans' perspective of one of them, and I saw someone. Worst moment is the one of them put the Rock's shoot interview on a Pat McAfee show.
Oh.
Fair play.
I try to avoid sort of off-screen stuff, like stuff that doesn't take place during the confines of a wrestling show. But
no, of course.
You're gonna love Unreal.
Oh yeah. Shit! Don't you know?
Next week.
Don't you know? Unreal. I know the trailer drops next week. I don't know when the actual show drops.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's next.
Hang on.
week
Hold there. I'll quickly check. I know
it was originally the 27th. I thought.
That's why I feel like The Rock has dibbled his fingers in it.
The trailer releases next week. It releases on.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
But that show, the clues in the name, people, Unreal, as in not real.
I'm looking forward to it.
But it's not. It's gonna be faker than the show that it's that it's.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I think that they'll bend the truth. I reckon they'll. Mostly be
they've
because it's not by WWE, remember, too. It's by the Drive to Survive people.
But it's by the people who are. It's for a company that are trying to promote that company. They're not going to show the roster backstage going, boy, this Evolution build's been crap, isn't it?
Well, they're not, because it's the road to WrestleMania too. But you're right; they are going to conveniently leave out. They're
going to conveniently leave out all the stuff that, and I know that I've heard there's a bit where The Rock's going to talk. Yay! Can't wait to hear what he's going to say.
Yeah, they've listed all the episodes that are going to be. There's 6 episodes. There's going to be 6 episodes. Yeah. The first one's called New Era. The next one's called Push, and it's going to be about Jey Uso, I assume, about the Rumble. I don't know. I don't know if you really want to know the episodes. Are you just going to go in blind?
No, I want to go in blind, to be honest.
Okay, say no more then. Yeah.
Episode 3's on Doink the Clown. Episode 4's on Mantar.
Episode 5, Gobbledygooker.
Yeah, episode 5 is on Gobbledygooker. Yeah, episode 6.
Episode 6. I already know episode 6. It's on The Rock phoning us up during a show, being angry that we used the word pivot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what I thought about this was
episode 6 is just The Rock watching an episode of Friends, getting increasingly more upset. Pivot.
Pivot.
We don't do that, you. Always the plan.
Shut up!
Always the plan from day one. It was always the plan for the New Day heel turn to be shit. We planned that months in advance.
Yeah. You just can't see the bigger vision yet.
Exactly. Yeah. We're the idiots. We just can't see it yet. Anyway, we digress. And on that note, we have come to the end of the show. It's been very fun, and obviously I couldn't have done it without these two fine gentlemen. So thank you very much, Ben Allison. Thank you very much, David Sheldon. If you want to check these guys out, they are on usually the Daily Show as well. Obviously, be sure to check out Ben's Allison Analysis. He's got his own YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe on that. And obviously all the other content, obviously you got Take It to the Table here on this main channel. On the undercard, you have obviously sold separately. You also have NXT Off the Air. You also have Sunday Spotlight grappling for position as well. We got all kinds of stuff on a frequent.
Test of how well Chaos knows the product.
How am I doing? Am I still safe, boss? Am I still safe?
No, you great list, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And obviously, make sure to even look out for the upcoming debut episode of David's delicious DDTs. All right,
It will come when I'm dead.
Trademark pending. Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, other than that, I have been your host, Chaos. He has been Ben Allison. Down below has been David Sheldon. Until next time, guys, see you at the table. Peace. This episode is brought to you by Wraith Energy. Wraith Energy is the perfect drink for gamers. It offers 200 milligrams of caffeine, 1,000 milligrams of taurine, antioxidants, amino acids, 0 sugar. It gives me that extra edge to beat Roman Reigns on Legendary on 2K24. It also helps when I'm forced by Ben Allison to do videos for him about his love for Soul. Just by using my promo code ChaosWraith, you get 10% off your entire order. They have awesome flavors such as the Cosmo, the WTD, the Sour Apple, Gamer Bathwater, or my personal favorite, Porn Star.
Hello, ladies.
No clumps, no grainy aftertaste, just absolutely amazing. So use promo code ChaosWraith right now and get 10% off your order. Thank you, Wraith, for sponsoring this video. Chaos.